If you own cryptocurrency and you're looking to learn how to be able to go ahead and report your taxes for this new tax year, or you own any kind of digital asset, you're going to want to stick around, because in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to know as it relates to the latest update from the IRS. So I'm going to get straight into it and share with you what the IRS just announced today to be able to let you know how to report your cryptocurrency or your digital assets for 2023. All right, so let's get into it. So the IRS just announced and reminded taxpayers that they must again answer a digital asset question and report all of their digital asset related to their income when they file their 2023 income tax return, as they did for 2022 federal tax returns. So the question is still going to go ahead and appear on the top of these forms. So it's going to be Form 1040, which is going to be your individual income tax return. It's going to be that 1040 SR, which is going to be for senior citizens. It's also going to be on that 1040 NR, which is going to be for non-residential aliens, and then also some other forms as well. So the question is going to be now added on the 1041, which is going to be the U.S. tax returns for estates and trust, the 1065, which is going to be used for partnerships, 1120, which is going to be used for corporations, and you also have the 1120S, which is going to be used as S corporations. So depending on the form, it's going to vary a little bit, specifically when it comes to the partnership, corporation, and the estate returns as well, because it's just a little bit different on those. So you just want to be aware of that. And then the question goes like this: at any given time during 2023, did you A, receive as a reward or an award or payment for property or services, or B, did you sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of digital asset or financial interest in a digital asset? So I'm going to give you some examples of each of these, and then you just want to see for yourself if these apply to you, and then whether you have to actually go ahead and report it. So let's say for instance, you went ahead and filled this out, and let's say you sold Ethereum during the year. In that case, that's going to qualify as a yes, and then you're going to have to check that yes box and then fill out the applicable forms as it relates to that transaction that happened. So you want to also understand what is a digital asset. How does the IRS define digital asset? And that's going to help you decide whether you're going to be responsible for going ahead and checking the yes box and then filling out the forms that are associated with the transactions that apply to that specific digital asset. So according to the IRS, a digital asset is a digital representation of a value that is recorded on a cryptographical, secured, distributed ledger, or any similar technology. Common digital assets include convertible virtual currency and cryptocurrency. You got stable coins, and you have NFTs. Next, so for instance, let's say you happen to sell your Ethereum during the year, or you own a piece of NFT artwork. They both are going to fall under the category of digital assets. So everyone must answer the question. So it doesn't matter whether you had any type of digital asset or not, you still need to answer the question, yes or no, and allow the IRS to know specifically what happened during the year, so they can go ahead and identify whether you're going to be responsible for going ahead and filling out the additional forms to explain what happened during the year. So everyone who files a 1040 SR, 1040 NR, 1041, 1065, 1120, and 1120S must check one box answering yes or no to the digital asset question. The question must be answered by all taxpayers, not just by those who engage in a transaction in digital assets during 2023. So again, if you had no type of digital assets during 2023, you still need to go ahead and answer that question and basically either answer no if that's the case for you. So when do you have to check yes? I'm going to share with you the list that the IRS has, and I'm going to share with you some scenarios so you understand and see for yourself whether you actually fall into any of these categories. So the first one's going to be receive digital assets as a payment for property or services provided. So I'm going to slow down and help you understand each of these. So let's say you're a freelance graphic designer and you went ahead and received payment for your services, then you would be required to go ahead and check that yes box. So let's say it could be Bitcoin, whatever NFT, like it doesn't matter. Like if you received that type of digital asset, then you're going to have to be required to go ahead and check that yes box and then fill out the forms that are associated with it. Receive digital assets resulting from a reward or an award. So what does that mean? So let's say you will participate in a cryptocurrency project, community event, and you receive an amount for the project's token as a reward for your participation at the event. That's going to be a case where you're going to have and check the yes box for that. Let's say you received a new digital asset resulting from mining, staking, or similar activities. That's going to be a yes for you to go ahead and fill that out. So let's say, for instance, you engaged in cryptocurrency mining, use your computing power to go ahead and validate blockchain transactions, and in return, you receive new coins for your mining as a reward. Then you have to do it. Let's say you're staking Ethereum in a staking pool and it earns additional Ethereum tokens as a staking rewards. You're going to have to go ahead and report that and click the yes for that. Let's say you received digital assets resulting from a hard fork. That's another requirement by the IRS. If you happen to engage in this activity, then you're going to have to check that yes box. Let's say, for instance, you went ahead, you held Bitcoin in a digital wallet. When that Bitcoin blockchain undergoes a hard fork, resulting in a new cryptocurrency, let's say Bitcoin Cash, you receive an equivalent amount of the new cryptocurrency as a result of the fork, then you will have to check that yes box. Let's say you dispose of digital assets in exchange for property or services. Let's say you went ahead and use your Ethereum to go ahead and purchase a laptop from a retailer that accepts cryptocurrency payments. That's when you're going to have to go ahead and check that yes box. Let's say you dispose of a digital asset in exchange or trade for another digital asset. Let's say you go ahead and trade some of your Bitcoins for another cryptocurrency like Litecoin. You're going to have to record that and check that yes box for that. Let's say you went ahead and sold a digital asset. You bought Bitcoin as an investment, later it increases in values, and you sell it for a profit. So when you actually do go ahead and sell it for a profit, then you're going to have to be responsible for going ahead and checking that yes box. Let's say otherwise you dispose of any other financial interest in a digital asset. Let's say, for instance, you own a variety of different cryptocurrencies. You give some of your digital currency to your friend as a gift. That's the case when you have to go ahead and do that. Let's say you participate in DeFi platform, lending your digital tokens to other people and earning an interest on them, then you're going to have to record that as well. So how do you actually report it? So I keep mentioning you have to report it, and this is how the IRS defines the steps to be able to report it. Again, this is just an overview to let you know what is required. So in order to do that, one, like I said, you have to go ahead and check that yes on the checkbox. With that question, you have to report all of the income related to that digital asset transaction. For example, as an investor, if you held a digital asset as a capital asset and sold it in exchange or transferred it during 2023, you do have to fill out Form 8949, which is sales and other dispositions of capital assets, to figure out their capital gain or loss on the transaction. Then you want to report it on Schedule D, 1040, capital gains and losses, the same thing you would do if you were selling any type of stock during the year. And as a taxpayer, if you dispose of any kind of digital asset by a gift, then you're going to you then again will probably be required to go ahead and fill out Form 709, which is the United States Gift and Generation Skipping Transfer Tax Return. If an employee was paid with digital assets, then you're going to have to report the value of those assets, receipts of wages. Also, if you worked as an independent contractor and you were paid with the digital assets, as I mentioned, then you're going to have to fill out now Schedule C, the profit and loss statement for sole proprietorships. And also, you're going to have to fill out the Schedule C if you went ahead and sold, exchanged, or transferred digital assets to customers in exchange in connection with your trade or business. So those are going to be the instances where you have to report it and where do you report it. And then when do you want to check no? So normally, if you just owned digital assets during 2023, you can check that no box as long as you have not sold it or did any of the transactions that I mentioned before. If it increases in value, that's all good. Let's say you hold it in a digital wallet or an account, that's fine. If you transfer it between a wallet or an account that you own and control, then you're not necessarily required to go ahead and check that yes box. You can go ahead and check no. And last but not least, you purchase digital assets using US or other real currency, including through electronic platforms. All right, so that is the breakdown of how the IRS defines the new requirement and who is required to actually report it. So again, if you fall into any of these categories, you want to make sure that you're compliant. Make sure you get with a tax professional. And also, I recommend you going ahead and checking out this next video over here, where I break down more about